Are you live?
Not as far as I can see.
She said, oops, something went wrong. It
No,
looks like it's
says
okay.
live, and there was a, yes,
Yeah.
excellent.
Good, we're okay?
We've got a picture this time, hopefully we've got it.
Okay.
Okay, well, welcome everybody to Assembly Town Council Planning Committee for January. Item 1, apologies for absence received.
We have personal commitments from Councillor Wiles and Mr Hennessy.
Item 2, declarations of interest. To receive any declaration of disclosable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on tonight's agenda.
Okay.
Up to you.
Thank you. Reference point number 25/01185, and that's relating to my property. I think it's just a note, really.
Sophie.
1185.
Right, reference 1225.5. As I'm a member of the Mayorwoods of Aberdeen's, I'll be abstaining there. As I'm a member of the Recommends
Sorry, which one?
on 2501. Well, the planning application 2501.382
01382.
or STC PC 1225.5.
This one.
That's one. That's one.
01382.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that also there's the last 3 ones we discussed at our last planning meeting.
Yes, apologies.
Okay. Item 3, minutes of the planning committee. To approve the minutes of the planning committee held on Monday, the 8th of January. To consider any matters arising, nothing is not covered out of the agenda. Then it should be 16. Okay.
December.
Proposed.
December. Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Are we all in favour of it?
So second.
Oh, you're abstaining then?
I wasn't present.
Oh. Yeah, 1 abstention, okay.
2.
2, oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Okay. Item 4, public participation, a 20-minute
That's the
session.
back one. Could you sign initial and meeting? That's all
Yeah,
right.
okay, I don't want to talk, no.
Before you move on, would you just initial here?
Yeah.
Sorry, who proposed those minutes? It was.
I propose. I think councillor Alex is second.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant, thank you.
Item 4. public
Sorry, I'm sorry. Councillor Brackett.
I didn't even know what they were talking.
I know, you've got to finish them all. It's got to
You're
be done.
Yeah. Just a minute.
I'll make it easy for you.
Oh, no,
Another one. Another one. It's no one.
getting a lot of just cramp here.
And then if you could sign, and then just here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right, good.
Item 4, public participation. A 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect to the business on the agenda. Individual representation should not exceed 5 minutes. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak, together with the topic to be addressed, must be given to the town clerk at least 4 hours in advance of the meeting.
Yes, I've had a request from one member of the public, Mr. Jones.
Just
Shall I kick off?
yeah.
Stand, Stuart.
Where would you like me?
Anyway, wherever you like.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking as owner and resident of one of the houses adjacent to the proposed access track, but also on behalf of others in the area, I feel very strongly that this application should be refused
Which
on the following
application?
grounds. The application 25/01382 in St George's Road.
Okay.
The access to the proposed site is completely inadequate, unsafe, and fails basic highway and emergency requirements. Mitigation and compensatory measures fail to overcome the basic flaw of the insufficient access width. The applicant has attempted to increase the width at the public highway end of the track by hacking our hedge to maximise the width to 3.45 metres. It then immediately narrows alongside the hedge to the house. The boundary continues through a line of bushes where the track is 2.65 metres in width, just 1 metre from the side of our house. The same width applies to the rest of the track along our fence boundary to the corner of the garden, at which point only it widens to 3.2 metres. These measurements show clearly that the access width is below the minimum required for fire appliances, construction and delivery vehicles, and below the standard for shared private drives. There is no line of sight or visibility splay to the left on exit due to our hedge, as marked on the plans, down the side of the track, and a 90-degree turn along the pavement, making exit by any vehicle totally unsafe. Kent Highways acknowledges itself that the access is, quote, narrow even for such a proposed development. In an emergency, residents' lives could depend on rapid fire services access. Relying on sprinklers working and fire crews laying hoses 45 metres or more from the highway is a huge compromise with public safety. The St George's Road community already suffers on-street parking issues, especially in the area of Sir Roger Manwood School. Adding significant traffic from construction vehicles for a period of up to 2 years, and then residents' vehicles of 2 5-bedroom houses via a substandard access with limited sightline will exacerbate problems along the highway and create additional risk for all road users. This site is valuable agricultural land. The National Planning Policy Framework requires protection of such land. The applicant may dismiss the 0.26 hectares loss as, quote, not significant, but national policy is clear that best and most versatile agricultural land should be protected. Cumulative incremental losses undermine food security and environmental objectives. The application claims exemption from biodiversity net gain requirements under self-build criteria. Yet these aspects raise questions about the legitimacy of this claim. The applicant lives in Berkshire with no intention to occupy either property as a primary residence. 2 identical 5-bedroom luxury houses is unusual for genuine self-built homes. The scale and specifications suggest investment properties rather than family homes. STC might consider requiring evidence that the applicant is on Dover's self-build register, a legal undertaking confirming which property will be the primary residence, planning conditions preventing use as holiday lets or short-term accommodation. If this is not genuine self-build, the full 10% BNG requirement should apply, thereby changing the planning balance. The construction of 2 large 2-storey houses will be a permanent invasion of privacy for residents of at least 6 properties which look onto the field, create extensive disruption for St George's Road residents, noise, dust, fuel pollution and general disturbance for up to 2 years, damage to the road surface from construction vehicles, for the occupants either side of the narrow access track, possible damage to house foundations, boundaries and tree roots. The field currently suffers from waterlogging at times of rainfall. With 2 large houses and an area for parking and turning, waterlogging would inevitably, despite token attempts at drainage, become flooding and impact nearby properties and gardens. Furthermore, the proposed development is totally inconsistent with the current quiet and rural character of the immediate area. Manwood students and parents or carers use St George's Road at the start and end of school in large numbers, including 6th formers to park their own cars. These are times when construction vehicles and builders' own vehicles would only add to congestion and serious risk for all involved, the proposed site being directly opposite the school. Lastly, approving a backland development with clearly substandard access sets a dangerous precedent. If successful, it could encourage similar applications along St George's Road, undermining proper planning standards and settlement boundary policies. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Item 5, planning applications. To receive and decide on application on which STC is a consultancy on. 25/01382, land east of Sports Pavilion, St George's Road, Sandwich, CT 13 9LD, erection of 2 detached dwellings with associated landscaping self-build. Yes.
Thank you. Can I first of all thank Stuart for a very clear presentation, much of which I'm not stealing from you, but I've also documented as well. So I can understand why the impact of this development is viewed by the way it is by the residents, because it is a change. I mean, it's been an environment that's been there for many years and a certain factor, but however, change does happen. So in terms of a planning application, we are here to be consulted. We won't be the determining authority, we'll be Dover District Council. And the pre-application advice from Dover District Council was that they are likely to support it, and that was from an officer as opposed to the actual committee. However, I think there are a number of concerns that need to be raised, which should mean we should object to this application as it stands. So I will echo some of what you said, but first of all, access and visibility. So the lane is narrow, but pre-planning advice from both KCC and the fire service said there were ways in which that could be resolved. However, I think as a consultee, we should be flagging up that measures will need to be examined carefully and confirmed by DDC before an application is considered. The second thing is, the 2 properties are a reasonable distance away from the properties that already exist there. And they've included screening in the design. However, and therefore it's not overdevelopment in my view. However, there is a potential loss of privacy and a loss of sunlight as a result of the development. Both should be highlighted to DDC, and we should request that DDC seek the developer undertakes a study of this to confirm that the impact is minimal or non-existent. Thirdly, meeting the self-build criteria which you covered gives an owner some concessions in terms of related regulations, and you touched on those. But that's primarily because they're building it as their main residence for self-occupancy. So I think we as a committee should flag up, first of all, there's 2 properties being requested, and we should ask that DDC seek proof from the applicant that they are on Dover's self-build register, and that they should give an undertaking that these properties will be primary residence occupation. And we should also request that planning conditions prevent properties being used as holiday lets or short-term rentals. There's only 2 more. Insufficient in the documentation, and I looked through all of it, and there's a lot of it. There's insufficient information provided on the managing of flood risk, the soak away of excess water, and the handling of wastewater. DDC should be asked to request a formal assessment to each of those aspects. And then finally, the disruption during the construction phase, because of the nature of the locality, must be taken into account and must be. Usually what will happen is it will put in mitigating actions around that, but we should flag that up. So in essence, for me, there are 5 reasons why I think we should vote against this, and clearly document each of these reasons, and I'm happy to share those with the town clerk after the meeting.
Yeah, I won't go over what's already been said, but I was down there today to check out the road condition and the traffic issues there. And I just can't believe that this could be allowed to go ahead just from that aspect. Apart from the lane, I've just checked, and I think it said it was for vehicles that emergency vehicles that need 3.7 metres, and I believe you said 2.65 at some point, didn't you? So, I mean, this is just setting it all up for a disaster to happen to such very large houses. But the thing that we had a similar development in Dover Road 2 years ago, and the disruption that's the issue that's going to affect me, because you're going to have, because they won't be able to get the vehicles onto the site, the brick lorries and all the suppliers are all going to have to park in St George's Road, right near the school. At school times, it's going to be a second disaster waiting to happen. I think this is really bad. And the other thing with all these planning, as we all know, is Kent County Council usually asks where you've got an entrance to a site coming out onto quite a fast road like that, they usually ask for a splay to be put in either side to increase the visibility. There's no possibility of a splay being put in to the access to that site. So just literally on transport terms, I think that we should be voting against this application. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I actually went down the fire station the other day, Thursday, and I looked at the fire pump, and I think it's 2.4 metres wide, plus the mirrors.
Exactly.
So I think it went down, put all the mirrors in, but I always thought there was an understanding that a fire pump couldn't be more than 25 metres away from the building, because I remember when Millwall Place did the roads up there, put new curbs in, and the fire brigade said they can't reach from this garage at the end right the way up to the bowling club, so we had to widen the road. So, and this was at 45 metres. So I'm against it anyway to the accessibility of the road. I think it's too long, especially for two dwellings. Might be one, but not for two. So anyway,
does it not count for something that the site is outside the defined settlement boundaries on those adopted policies?
it's on that as well, isn't it? Yeah. It's not within the structure plan, is it? No. So anyway, you're proposing, Councillor Suker, that
I propose that we object, but I don't know if there's any other comments.
I'll second that.
Councillor Carter, to go to vote. All those that are. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm green.
Yeah,
Green to refuse.
what have we got?
Green to refuse.
Yeah, that's it.
So proposed, councillor Franklin, seconded.
No, Councillor Councillor Carter. Somebody won.
One abstention.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Number 2, 25/01342, 1 No Name Street, Sandwich, CT 13 9AJ, 2 externally illuminated fascia signs to front and side elevations.
Can we do both on block, because they're they're similar,
Yeah.
they're similar to it, and if I can say
One's conservation and that one.
yeah, so if I'm happy to, so Mr. Mayor, so there's been a lot of speculation, Mr. Mayor, sorry, Mr. Chair, just point out that there's been a lot of speculation regarding the signage and stuff on this new property on the property. So it's the old No Name shop.
Yeah.
The No Name shop is now being turned into a Turkish restaurant for the town. There's a lot of speculation regarding the signage and illumination. People think it's going to be like Blackpool illuminations or Las Vegas. It's not. That's not the case. If you look at the new restaurant we have, the Lazy Elephant, it's exactly the same as that. So it's a wooden frame for the sign, and it's going to have overhanging lamps. Yeah, exactly. The only concern that I have is the one on the cattle market, which is when buses take their wide swing to come into the bus stop, because we had a large, if you remember a few years ago, we had the large sign at the Market Inn, and that was taken down by a bus when it hit it a couple of years ago. But I'm all in favour for having these.
If they fix the building flat,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to build on what Councillor Marie had said, because I read the complaints that have been issued to Dover District Council, and all of them seem to mention neon signs.
Yes.
But when you go into the planning application, there's nothing about neon signs at all, so which I'm a bit worried about. And the second point, which I was going to reiterate, was, which Councillor Marie said, is that the pavement outside the No Name shop is very narrow.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Fleur de Lis, they had very ornate exterior signs, which got caught by a delivery vehicle. So it would be suggested that if they did have external illumination, that the lights just come out just no further than the edge of the curb there. So, but I'm quite happy to second Councillor Marie's proposal.
And looking at the application, the lights that are displayed in the application are similar to what we've got at Amigos, Fleur de Lis and Aussies. So it's in keeping with the locality. I think we should be supporting this business.
Yeah.
It's a partner to a Turkish restaurant that already exists in Broadstairs, which has got a very good reputation. So I think we should be doing all we can to support it. And this is a request that's in line with what's around it in terms of the neighbourhood.
Yeah, I mean, they had the signs there before.
Yeah, they're using the same.
Down
I'm just curious as to why we haven't got applications 339 and 340 listed, which are for the same premises and relate to the extraction ban and the flue.
I think they came in after the deadline, and so I've asked for an extension, they'll be in February.
The numbers are earlier than these two.
I don't,
We can only go on what's on the agenda.
They sent the details in too late to the clerk.
I don't know, I got them in, I did the agenda and
Legal practice on an agenda is 5 clear days before the meeting, and that has to
it doesn't,
stand.
if the number doesn't necessarily always match up with the date you get it.
It's the numbers allocated when an application is made.
Yes.
There are steps that are taken through that process, so the timing when it's meant to
Let me double check.
So February meeting, but I propose support for this application.
I'll second that. All in favour then? Yeah, all in favour, unanimous, thank you. The next one.
Yeah, I got it there for the February one, it's all there, ready.
Good. 25/01324 Dale Stream House, the Butt Sandwich. Erection of single story side ABI 1W extension, rear first floor gable extension with balcony glass balustrade, external internal alteration to also include insertion of 5 roof lights to existing concern and garden room to be demolished. I don't know, maybe I should look that up.
Having looked at the proposals, I think they're a significant improvement on what exists at the moment. I personally haven't identified any issues at all with it in terms of the construction, and in some ways the materials being used are better than what's there at the moment, so I'm happy to support it. But it's got,
You can't see that, can you?
and you can't see
You can't see it.
that's the other thing as well.
No.
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously, it would be good to say about the conditions about flood guidance, which the water balls were very heavy on. It said due to it being in flood zones 2 and 3, it said that the guidance must be adhered to.
I was all surprised when they built that place years ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing it go up.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it's just tucked in there. Yeah, and of course also the access road is that funny young mate road, isn't it? Okay, then. So, got a proposal. You second that?
Happy to say.
Okay. All in favour? Right. Yeah, thank you. 25/01269 White Mills Wake and Aqua Park, Ash Road Sounds, CT 139JB. Erection of a pergola to cafe in a single-storey gym building, together with installation of decking and glass balustrade on existing container roof to facilitate the use of the site of a sauna, hot tub and plunge pool.
Yeah, so I do believe that the Aqua Park is now a training centre for most wakeboarders. Obviously it held international championships last year. Done very, very well. It brings a lot of people into the town to do it. People say that it doesn't bring people into the town, but it does. It's not in a conservation area, I don't think. It does very well. I'm all supportive of this because it is a tourist attraction for the town, and I'm happy to propose that we accept it.
Yeah, and I think the other point to make is it complements the existing facilities, so it's not out of sync with what's there. So I can't see why you would want to object.
Exactly that.
And it's increasing employment on the site as well. Noted there's number 2 employee. They've got 30 employees already.
Shouldn't say it isn't.
Just as I said, it's a training camp for people that want to wakeboard, and obviously the gym is part of the fitness regimes that they have to do the wakeboarding.
Couple of safety records.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
So you're proposing it, councillor?
Yeah.
Councillor Brinkley, second.
All in favour? Yeah, it's unanimous. Okay. I think that's the lot, isn't it? The other three we've.
Yeah.
from last time.
Sorry, the other ones, yeah.
Okay, we discussed it last meeting. Okay. Item 6, withdrawn planning applications. There were
Hang
no,
on, sorry, Chair, there's one left before the 156 St George's Road.
I thought we covered that, didn't we?
No, that's not covered. We haven't covered that before. So the two last that were 251, 278 and 2501, 259, we've not covered those.
That's because the last three were covered at the last meeting.
Were they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm very
I
sorry, that's
apologize.
my fault. The last three were covered, I think.
Okay, sorry, my mistake, Chair. Carry on. It's actually me not listening to the panel.
262 has got comments that we support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the,
No, 262 is ones we refused because it's plastic, it's not like for like, it's plastic PVC windows.
And I sent an email asking that the explanation of our objection was clarified.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've got, we haven't, I can't see St George's Road.
No.
It's not on the applications,
I'm sure Sandown Road, Vigo, Sandown.
on
Let's
the
have a
minutes that has just been signed.
DTC planning portal.
Just that one.
We've got Vigo, on last month, we had Vigo and the Gatehouse, so I did make those.
Okay, so it's the last one.
It's just 156 St George's Road.
Direction front end. Okay. 25/01278 156 St George's Road, Sandwich, Kent, CT 30 9LV, erection of front and rear extensions.
Yes, we have.
We have.
I think we have that,
The
haven't we?
three that we have responded to,
Yeah.
they're all logged.
Yeah,
it said we
It's trouble like
supported,
always.
it said we supported this one.
yeah.
Was that the month before then?
I don't think that's before.
Would that be November? Because
Well,
in
the date
December
will be
we
logged.
did.
not in
Somebody got it up.
No, it's not December.
It'll tell you what date it was logged by us.
It'd be in the minutes though, wouldn't it?
How do you?
Right, so what's the number of the application?
278, I've got it on right. Yeah.
Yes. So
It's got Sandwich Town Council. It's got, yeah.
So ours is 9th of December.
Some
Comments
comments in
published.
support
Okay.
planning
So that would suggest it was done in November.
Before your time, Councillor.
No, not quite. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it was, yeah, so I did it in.
Please just causing trouble. I don't have enough to do, so
I'm
you
sorry.
know.
So we have commented on it, don't need to talk about
Go
it.
back out and come in,
I will,
Councillor.
I will. Might not come back, that's trouble.
Could I just check that the replacement of the wooden windows with the UPVC, we've expanded our comments on the portal to say why we objected?
Yeah, I think I did put it on, I said because it was,
No, we just said we object.
Yeah,
I could check.
it doesn't say the reason.
On number 25/.
Quite an important building, that, isn't it, really? Yeah.
It's in a common position too.
Yeah. We haven't got the prison anymore, but we've got the gateway. Yeah.
Sorry, can you give me the number, just so I've got it? Is it what?
25
Yeah,
01262.
Okay.
expand about the plastic.
Yeah, I did email and it just gives sort of some suggested wording.
Sandwich Town Council supports window replacement on a like-for-like basis. On this case, the applicant is replacing wooden windows with UPVC.
Yeah.
That's,
We object.
yeah, that's our comment though, read comment. Supports the window for replacement on a like-for-like basis.
Okay, apologies.
Okay, so it's done.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fine,
done.
that's all good. Come on, Jeff,
Okay.
TikTok.
you're running late.
Item 6, withdrawn planning applications. There are no planning applications that have been withdrawn at the time of issuing this agenda. Item 7, planning decision. To receive a note, latest planning decision taken by Dover District Council on new planning applications. Is there any comments on this?
We need to receive a note though, so
Yeah.
I'm happy to propose receive a
You're
note.
welcome to come and sit in if you wish.
Second.
Just correct my dad, I think he might have left.
Yes, yes, we had, yeah.
Has he?
Yeah.
With the pub, yes.
Is it approved, is it?
Second,
Sorry, what we?
Approved.
Noting
No.
them.
Noted.
Oh, yeah.
It's a no, yeah. Unanimous, okay. Yeah. Who's the other one? Item 10, street furniture application. To receive and consider any application made to DDC in relation to a street furniture consent applications under the Local Government Miscellaneous Provision Act 1982. Please note, none to consider at time of issuing this agenda.
yeah, all good.
Yeah,
Carry on.
you favour that we make the application? Yeah. I think so. Still reading it.
Go on, Jeff.
You have to note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing to note.
You having a moment, Jeff?
Item 11, licences. To consider and note any licence notices for sandwich, please note none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. Okay.
Sorry,
It's a note.
Sorry, could I just mention something?
Oh, yes.
Mr. Chair? Today, the No Name shop put in a licensing thing
Yes.
to be able to sell alcohol. That came in today, so obviously I couldn't get it on the agenda, but just to let you all know, I need to talk to DDC because it's more than 21 days and the next meeting, so anyway, there we are, but that's next meeting, if I can get it to next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Item 12, enforcement. To consider any enforcement notices and issues received from Dover District Council, please note none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda.
So there was no correspondence either.
No correspondence. Oh, well. Item 14, Dover District Council planning update. No.
I got one here.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah. Councillor Morehouse, good afternoon, Sophie, here with my update with respect to planning issues. An erroneous Polders Road sign has been placed to junction with a dirt track on Woodensborough Lane that leads to the Scout Hut. It is not Polders Road, it is an unadopted, unsurfaced access road maintained by the 3 properties on postcode CT13 OLU to which it affords access. As it is not Polders, it should not in any way encourage motor vehicles to try and connect to Polders Road. Motorists might consider it as a thoroughfare, but beyond the 3 properties mentioned, the dirt track is a restricted byway and privately owned by a farmer. No motor vehicles should be using it except access only. I attach an update on 4 Upper Strand Street. With respect to 57 New Street, jointly with the Mayor, I've arranged a meeting on Monday the 26th with DDC to include the Mayor, Councillor Franklin, Councillor Wiles and Councillor Ripley, who asked to attend. But he did not attach. Hang on, let me just check. I attached an update. Okay, replan enforcement. Good morning. So this is against 4 Upper Strand Street. Good morning, Councillor Morehouse. I write further to our correspondence relating to this matter. I've carried out a site visit and reviewed records for the site. I've inspected the site, reviewed the condition of the property and taken into account its effect and impact. As previously advised, I discussed this matter with the Council's Heritage Tree and wrote to the registered owners of the property to provide advice on what actions can be taken to prevent deterioration of the building. However, at this current moment, the property condition is not considered to cause undue harm to the amenity of the area. Government advice identifies that local authorities should not take formal action where there is a trivial or technical breach of control which causes no material harm or adverse impact on the amenity of the site or the surrounding area. Development is acceptable on its planning merits and formal enforcement action would solely be to regulise the development. In their assessment, the local planning authority considered that an application is the appropriate way forward to regulise the situation, for example, where planning conditions may need to be imposed. In this case, bearing in mind the above advice, while the external condition of the building could be considered as being scruffy, it is not considered to be adversely affect the immunity of the area. Accordingly, it's not considered proportionate or expedient to take formal action in this case. However, the site will continue to be monitored in the future, and should you notice that the condition worsened, then please do not hesitate to contact us. Calvin, Investigation Officer, Enforcement. Okay. I will attach those.
I have to say, I think that's not very accurate, that assessment. Some of the external woodwork is clearly rotten.
Yeah.
The building's been empty for, I think, about 2 years now. And obviously, deterioration of the building is going to get worse. And the sooner action is taken, the better. I mean, if you just wait until the building is half ruinous, it's much more expensive to restore than if you take action before it reaches that stage. So I think we might express concern about this assessment of the building.
Yeah, I second that. I was there, I left, I was at a wake at the Bell Hotel, and when I came out there, I walked down there to check on this property, and it's, as you say, the windows are in a dreadful state. I think there is issues to do with safety of the public, even to do with the windows, so we should really have some sort of like site meeting or something, really, with Dover District Council.
That's what we have to go planning, isn't it?
We don't want this, what we've got to be very careful, obviously, we don't want this ending up like 57 New Street. If we don't strike very early on, we could just leave it, and then that officer moves on from Dover District Council, it's passed on to somebody else, the whole process is restarted again. Next thing we know, we've got 757 New Street on our hands.
Okay. Right.
Could I just ask the town clerk, could we actually have Councillor Morehouse's report and appendix?
Yes, I'll attach it to minutes.
Super, thank you.
Okay, any actions?
I think we could raise it when we meet.
Yeah, when we meet the planning officers.
It's not planning enforcement though. We're not meeting with planning enforcement, which are a different team, unfortunately. I think the issue that I would see is a visual assessment, and I'm not dismissing what you're saying at all. Unless you've got, for example, the backing of an inspection yourself, then if DDC planning enforcement saying it's scruffy in their terms, you've got to come back with something that escalates it to another level rather than saying, well, actually it is beyond scruffy. That's probably not enough. I don't know how you get that, but in terms of where we are versus where DDC are positioning themselves, you've got to have something material, I think, to escalate it. Because if you say, we want you to come and have a site visit, why would they want to? I'm not sure that they would want to, unless
Quite a few
planning.
buildings. When you walk around by the car, there's some buildings down there or Shorten Street. It's quite a big.
Can you express concerns to the owner or the owner's agent?
No,
We
haven't got the authority.
No.
Dover District only runs with the authority.
Yeah,
You can't
We can't.
express concerns.
We can't, no.
not as
We
a
can have
council, or as councillors, we
No,
can't.
beyond our powers.
Okay. Right. This is this one, isn't it? Item 15, date of next planning meeting.
Sorry, so was there an action?
We will raise it, but I'm not sure that we'll get
Yes,
brilliant response.
It'll be raised at the meeting that you have 57 New Street.
I think, sorry, I'm just, because we're dealing with it in real time, it might be worth going back to our DDC councillor who has managed this on behalf of us and say that we are concerned. The view is that actually it's beyond scruffy. There is deterioration of significance, particularly to the windows, and just see what I can expect. I know what the response might be, but I think we shouldn't just back down after one
And
bite.
the point I've already made, the stitching time saves an iron. And
Yeah.
If we take action now.
Yeah.
Or if action is taken now, it will be much cheaper and less onerous than if you wait 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's just out of our remit, isn't it? So it's out of our remit, all we can do to do the district, and it's in their remit really, isn't it? They can ask.
I think the first step is you speak to our district elected members, that's what you do, both of them, if not just the one, but it's up to you. But then, and then they can see what they can do on their behalf of speaking to planning and planning enforcement and see who they, well, the first thing you've got to do is find out who owns it, and only DDC can do that.
Okay. Okay. Item 15 then. Date of next planning committee meeting Monday night of February 2026. I'm sure New Year.
Same to you.
You're slacking, Jeff,
No, I know.
It's all stretched out a little bit, didn't we?
you're 12 minutes late.
I'll blame the FIFA player now.
I've got another meeting now. Yeah, it's fucking hell meeting. Yeah. Here's one. Oh, have we got a research on menus for this human right? Well, that's in the email.